Guys, how are you doing? So, I wanted to go over Nars Foundation. So, to start off, before anybody says anything, this is specifically L3.5. And I bought this. Hold on, it's 24 months. Okay, so it expires in 24 months after you officially like open it, or for first time you use it. So I got this back in November, and the reason why you see that it's barely used is because I'm trying to finish off the MAC foundation that I have. Number two, I really did not use foundation as much since last March, so it's almost a year now that I've really rarely uh wearing foundation. So I think since like the last week March until like the beginning of June, I did not wear no foundation at all. Probably once or twice because I want to, make sure I still was able to make sure my foundation was on point and like the makeup and everything. When you get bored, you want to try it. And then June, I went like things kind of started opening, so I went out with my cousin because she just wanted to go out for the sake of going out. Then outdoor dining, and then my family friend, I went out with her in June, and then I think I went out in October with both of them again. No, wait, yeah, it was October. With one of them, I went out in October. And then September, no, November. Hold on, October, November, December, and January. I only went out one time each with my family friend. With my cousin, she was mainly at my house, and she gave birth, so I didn't really want to go make her go crazy with the child and stuff. So that's besides the point. And then I think in between, I think in November we went to one wedding, and then it's a relatively small wedding, and then October I went to one wedding. So those were the only times I really wore foundation, and then wore one today again. Only today was when I wore the Nars Cosmetics one. So this is technically the second time I'm using it. I think I used once at one of the two weddings. But all of the other times that I was actually wearing was the MAC foundation one. I don't think I did the MAC foundation review yet. But I'll go over it with you. So I personally got this from Ulta, and then my family friend, I told her about this, and then she ended up getting hers from Sephora. Suppose I had to confirm it with her, but suppose according to the Sephora employee, you were supposed to buy the pump separately, and my family friend didn't, because I kind of was skeptical, and we're not allowed to open the packages, obviously. But there weren't really samples there for us to figure out that if it had a pump or not. But the Ulta one had pumps, like as you can tell. So in the past, I've obviously I bought. I told you guys that I have MAC foundation. I have bought that probably twice. And then before that, I used the Fenty Beauty one, which I actually liked. I only bought it once, and then I had the MAC one, and then I bought this. And then before that, I had. I'm trying to remember what I had before that. I remember one time I had the. What is it called? Um, I had three other companies that I used, but I just don't remember on top of my head. But by far, my favorite one has been the Nars ones. The reason why I'm not saying Fenty Beauty is because I chose the wrong color, or matter of fact, the Sephora employee chose the wrong color for me. Um, the thing about it is that one thing I've noticed is at the Sephora, at Sephora specifically, they always gave me the wrong information on my foundation. It never matched. One thing is because of the lighting. So the lighting does have an effect. Number two, for the most part, they never checked it near my neck. Um, I don't know why. They will go straight to my face, and so when I got the Nars one product, this one, I was debating on between the 3.0 and the 3.5, and I went opted for the 3.5, even though I kind of was skeptical, and we obviously can't return this back. Now, let me go ahead and don't worry about the napkin. This is the best way I can show it to you guys. So I hope this works. So there you go. It is relatively thick. It's not watery. This is how it looks like. It is full coverage. Obviously right now it wouldn't look like it would blend, but this is by so one thing I've noticed with this is, let me hold this, and so I know you guys will be like, oh my god, it's not really your color or whatnot, but however, this actually I've noticed. Let me go back. So I just wanted to show on my hand only that even with that small one, it actually will blend out, or it will cover a huge surface, and you don't really have to use much. I know right now it doesn't look like it's blended into my hands. However, with my face, it actually blends out pretty well. This is probably not the perfect example right now on my face. I mean, on my hands. This is what I was saying. Like a lot of the times, Sephora will actually go ahead and check it out on my arms or my hands. So this is why I never go with the hands. But however, I just want to relatively show you how it actually looks, or how it spreads out, which I actually love. So let me get the beauty blender, see if it works. Yeah, this is the socks I'm wearing, guys. I used it this morning, so you just really have to dab it in. And what I normally do is I will put a little bit on my hand, obviously on my hand, and I'll take a little bit and I'll start patting on my face, like a little bit, like, you know, a soft touch. So, and then I'll start doing this like this on my face, and it will, see, so I will dab, 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 and it actually works out pretty well on my face. And yeah, so me being a typical Daisy, I'm just gonna bring this up just in case. My skin tone is definitely not even, especially if you look at my neck and my shoulder, they are definitely not even. And if you see my hands and my arms, like I do have some redness going on. Now see, you can tell red, and then I'm not gonna say that there's some white pigmentation going on. I'm definitely not saying that, but I do have some redness going on, so that definitely helps that out. That just to show you that on my hands, that I do have a lot of redness on my cheeks. So as you can tell, I didn't really do much. I didn't really do anything to my fingers. So now since it is blended out a little bit, actually I will have to do more. Like again, I said that since this is my hand, if I did on my face, it would actually have spread out even more. So it will have me use a little bit less, but as you can tell, it can blend out perfectly fine. Like again, the fingers I haven't really touched. Again, I didn't touch my, this is where it ends. So I really haven't done anything. As you can tell, the skin on my, it looks pretty even. And I actually really, really, really love Nars. And this is with Flash. So it doesn't really give that so it doesn't really give you that reflection back. So yeah, this is just I kind of spread it around, but I should. But anyways, so this is more for like coverage purposes. So my MAC one hasn't finished yet. However, one thing I definitely want to tell you about, I'm going to do that separately, but the MAC one I have is not really full coverage. I'll go separately over it, but this is really more a creamier texture and full coverage, and you have to use a little bit, spread it out as much as you can. Just start from one side of your face. So normally what I've noticed is that what I would normally do is, especially with the sponge that I showed you, beauty blender that I've showed you, I would normally start it right under from my eyes, pick it up, take it down to my cheeks, and it will go almost down to my jaw. um and then I will pat a little bit, like I said, that I normally put it a little bit on my hands, and I'll dab it slightly so not a lot comes on the sponge. So like that, I'm not really have a lot to work. It's a little bit. And then obviously I will start with my other eye down the cheek to the jaws. And then I will dab a little bit again so I can have some on my nose, my forehead, and a little bit on the other chin and like under chin. And then if needed, I'll take it down to my neck if necessary. So the best thing I would normally recommend is that oftentimes what people say is, or I used to see a lot, is that it kind of cakes up while applying foundation on your face. So the best thing you can read, or it actually really looks dry while you're putting it on and hard time blending it in, or just looks dry, um, is not the foundation. I mean the makeup overall in general is not all about how much money you're spending on foundation or how much you're spending on uh powders, setting sprays, concealers, contouring, stuff like that. It's not really how much you're spending on these. Even if you use the elf products, you're still good. I've used elf products. I I right now I have their primer. Yeah, one of them, one of the things that I believe I use the elf foundation as well. And elf products are relatively good, especially with their primers, and they're affordable. So if you're somebody who's starting out and want to practice first, I definitely would tell you to go ahead and use elf, something like elf first. So what would happen is that, okay, so what I was trying to say is, um you don't need anything expensive, and the reason why is that it's all about the skincare, and what you're doing prior to putting foundation, and anything above that is really the skincare routine. I actually was the worst person when it comes to that. I would just apply foundation and be like, okay, not I would apply like moisturizer, and on rare occasion I'd be like, okay, I'm not even putting moisturizer, and I would just put like sunscreen. And oftentimes, that sunscreen is relatively drying at like, it kind of dries out my skin. Um, so later on, I started using primers. So what I would do is I would put moisturizer, primer, and then I would put the foundation on top. It would work sometimes. It wouldn't work sometimes. Sometimes it would just dry out my skin, or it just looked really dry and wouldn't blend in properly. It would just not look good, and it would have been better if I just put the eyeliner on my waterline and lipstick. Then after that, I bought serum like a year ago, year and a half ago, and that actually made my makeup a million times better. Now obviously I just have to kind of brush up on my contouring and the eyeshadows, but other than that, if you're the type of person that quick in and out and you really want to put foundation, but so the number one thing I would recommend is to first start with the really good skincare. I would go with the serum, uh, moisturizer. Try to have something that has some kind of SPF in there. A primer. Primer may not be necessary. depending on how your skincare routine is, but I still like to put primer in there anyways because, extra moisture in the skin and a lot easier for the foundation for me personally speaking. So after the moisturizer, I will still put on the primer anyways. So that's the best tip I can tell you. Trust me, it will, blending will be amazing, and you have a lot more easier time with the foundation. Once the foundation is put on, you have a lot more better time applying everything else. Everything else is more of just blending at that point. So you're all set. And then I'll be linking both my Instagram pages down below. Make sure to follow, hit the subscribe button, bell button. I'll be back for more. Stay safe and stay tuned, guys.